Evening all, it's me Sam Coulson. This is the second part of the video I made a couple of days ago doing the question and answer video, and here's the answers to your questions. Some of the questions were sort of repeated, so forgive me if I don't give you the exact answer, but a lot of the questions were sort of similar, so here we go anyway, getting stuck in. First of all, do you have an absolute favourite guitar solo? If so, which one is it? I'd say that my favourite guitar solo of all time is Hotel California. Reason being, actually it's sort of 3 or 4 solos, isn't it? There's just so much good bending within all of those solos. It really is just masterful stuff. It's well composed, the tone is, absolutely beautiful. It's something I work on a lot with my students because it just showcases some of the most phenomenal bending that I've ever heard. When I'm listening to a guitar player, that's number one on my list. If someone hasn't got good bending and good vibrato, it's sort of game over really. So yeah, Hotel California. Moving on, how old are you and what is the best out of the box all standard guitar that you've ever played? I'm 26, it's my birthday February, so just gone. Yeah, best out of the box guitar, I'd say my Charvel when I got that. It comes with amazing stuff. It comes with DiMarzio pickups, it comes with the Mini Grovers, Floyd Rose original, strap locks, they're on there. It's got an SKG, is that right? SKG case, hard case, one of the best cases that you can buy. What else does it come with? Just a phenomenal guitar really. I've tinkered with mine a lot, but most of it remains the same really. Let's see, I'll come back onto the guitar in a little bit. I know there's some more questions about it. I've had a few questions about the harmonic squeals that I do. How do I do those? Well, basically that's sort of a Dimebag Darrell thing that I've taken away. Another one of my favourite guitar players, Dimebag Darrell, and he really had a fantastic ability to pull those harmonics up to pretty much any note. Also, Matthias Eklund is another guy who's absolutely amazing at doing that, and I'm just trying to emulate those guys. Quickly, I'll see if I can give you a quick walk through that. I've actually got the bar removed for some reason on my guitar at the moment, but what I'm doing, it's basically just a few steps. I'm dropping the bar down, I'm flicking the string, and then I'm touching a harmonic and I'm bringing the bar up. And you do it quickly in one motion so you can't hear the bar go down. Yeah, you want it to be smooth and you don't really want to hear the steps, and it takes some practice doing it, but it's great because you can sustain those notes all day long. Which is great on this kind of guitar where a Strat style guitar, you haven't got the same sustain as a Les Paul, so tricks like that really help you out. You can hold those harmonics for a minute probably. I wouldn't be surprised at all, so there we go. Also, in the same question, it's sort of a two-part question. Also, in your Paul Gilbert interview, you show Paul how he can strum behind your left hand while I'm playing, and all you can hear is the notes that I'm getting out of the guitar. The way I developed that really was making sure that whatever string I'm playing, so say I'm playing the B string, my right hand, I'm using sort of the karate chop part of your hand if you like, that part of my hand is clamping down on the low strings. So say I'm playing a note on the B string, the E string, the A string, the D string and the G string are all being silenced by my right hand. And the E string, which I'm not playing also because I'm playing the B string, the A string there, I'm muting that with the underside of my index finger, and sometimes I even use the fingers on my right hand to do that. Doing that gives you better tone because you haven't got any string noise that you might get. Yeah, there are other ways of doing that. You can put the hairband on, but yeah, the way I do it is via that. My screensaver's gone up, hang on, there we go. Yeah, so doing that gives you great tone. It really makes sure that you're only getting the pure sound from the note that you want and nothing else really. So I definitely advise you to look into that. It makes for good guitar playing. Right then, let's see. Another Charvel question. What type of strings do you use? In addition, more info on the ever-changing pickups, switches and controls. So let's see. At the moment, for the Asia gig, I'm tuned down to E flat. A lot of bands do that. It sort of helps out the singer a little bit when you're singing every night. It means you don't have to hit the high notes quite so high. So because I'm tuned down, I've got a 10 through to, I guess it's 46. It's standard 10s. When I'm tuned standard, I'm using 9 through to 42. But because I'm tuned down, I want to retain a little bit of that tension really. So the second part of that question, let's see. I've got a Damasio Super Distortion in the neck position. In the middle position, I know it's a Seymour Duncan, but that's about all I do know about the middle pickup there. That was advised by the tech who did it, Brad Lindbergh over in Canada. Great tech, did a great job for me. And in the bridge position, I've got a Seymour Duncan JB. As far as the 5-way switch is concerned, in the 2 and 4 positions, I'm splitting whichever humbucker. So say I'm in this position, I'm splitting this sort of what you'd call that, I guess you'd call that the inner coil of the humbucker with the single coil, so you get that real strat sound, you know. That's the great thing about having this configuration. It's made it such a versatile guitar. It sounds great for clean. Using those 2 and 4 positions, you get that real gnarly strat sound. And at the same time, you know, you pop it over to the humbucker and you've got your proper girthy lead sounds, which I really approve of. Yeah, I do have the tone wired in, but I don't really use it that much really. You can roll it off, but I don't tend to do that so often. So that's sort of the crack on this guitar really. There we go. Let's see. How many years have you been playing? From Robert Baker, my buddy. I've been playing about 10 years now. I started playing when I was 16, and really when I was 16 everything else stopped for me. I didn't really care for doing anything else except for playing guitar. And to this day, it's still my passion. I still love it just as much as when I started. I know there were some other questions about why I wanted to start. So concerning that, I remember a good friend of mine got a guitar for Christmas. It was a red Chinese-made Stratocaster of some description. I just thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen, you know. And around that time, I was starting to get into rock music. So really it sort of went hand in hand with that really. I was really into that music and I just wanted to play it really. I hadn't really had an inkling to play music before that. But there we go, when I was 16 it was just a game changer really. I just got completely enamoured by guitar and spent all my time doing it. So there we go. Right then, let's see. Scrolling down. I've noticed a lot of your current videos are more classically influenced. Is that a new direction? Yeah, I guess so. I've always been into classical music. From the beginning I've always learned classical pieces, and that's something I've really been keen on. I suppose I haven't really posted much in the way of classical stuff, but it always has been a love of mine, and some of the first things I learnt on guitar were classical. Fingerpicking is such a great thing because when you're beginning out you might not have people to play with, and so accompanying yourself with sort of a fingerstyle guitar piece where you've got a bass line and a melody line, it's really cool. It's got a much bigger dimension than if you were just playing by yourself. So there we go. Right, vibrato questions, I had a few of those. Let's see. A few tips on vibrato technique and how you can improve yours. One of the biggest things that I remember doing which really aided my vibrato was unison bends. And what a unison bend is, if you don't know what a unison bend is, you play a note on the string, say the B string, say I play this E note here, 5th fret on the B string. I'm going to play that note as well as another note, say 7th fret on the G string. I'm playing those two notes together and I'm bending the G string to be the exact same pitch as the note that I've selected on the B string, if that makes sense. Again, it's sort of difficult explaining these things when you're not one-on-one, but unison bends, do your research on those. Jimmy Page used them a huge amount. A good example would be at the end of Stairway. He does a section with unison bends, and the great thing about doing a unison bend is you can hear how in tune you are, because you're bending up to that note that you've already got on the other string. You know exactly when you hit the pitch. So first of all, getting the bends to be accurate, that's the first step to getting good vibrato on a bent note. You've got to have an accurate bend, and after that, really the way to do it is just go up and down to the pitch. You go up to the pitch, you drop it down a little bit, and you make sure to return exactly to the pitch, and that way you'll be in tune and people will want to listen to you. Let's see, it doesn't really matter how wide your vibrato is as long as it's controlled. And that's the beautiful thing about vibrato as well, because no two guys sound the same when they're putting vibrato on a bent note. The classic example is B.B. King. You know it's him, right? And then you've got guys like Paul Kossoff. You could totally tell his vibrato just by listening to him play a note. Zakk Wylde, Yngwie Malmsteen, Paul Gilbert. All of my favourite players have got killer vibrato. It really makes you a great player, having good vibrato. It means people will want to listen to you, basically, in my opinion anyway. So there we go. Moving on again. How do you decide which of your guitars to use for different parts in your split screen videos? Well, really, for me it depends what I've got fresh strings on, for one, because you definitely want to have clean strings on your guitar to make it sound at its peak. Really, that SRV that I've got sounds phenomenal clean. That might be the best clean sounding guitar I've ever heard in my life. It just really rings out nicely. Again, the 2 and 4 positions on a Strat, for me, that is ideal for whatever you're doing clean. Those finger picking parts, it really gives you a sort of extra harmonic content, really. So usually I'll be using that SRV for clean parts. When I'm playing lead parts, I'm really an advocate of the humbucker. So I've been using the Charvel a huge amount because it's got the humbuckers. And when you're playing a melody or a lead line, it gives you that girth, it gives you that power. I'm not a big single coil fan for anything dirty, really. I really love single coils for clean, but not for dirty, really. And that's why the Charvel is such a versatile guitar. It really does it all. I'm just repeating myself, so yeah, I'll just move on, really, yeah. So let's see. Right. Can you explain how to synchronise 2 videos into one? Really, the way I do that is by cropping. This might get a bit technical into the video side, but if you know what cropping is, it means you sort of cut parts of the screen out. So let's see. I'm about there, aren't I? What I'll do is I'll cut half of the screen down here, and that way you can have videos side by side, and the one shows through, and you crop that one, and you sort of reposition them somewhat. It gets a little bit sort of advanced, really, but it's not too difficult to do once you know what you're doing. And actually, there are a number of good tutorials on how to do that available on YouTube for free. All you need to do is type in, how do I make a split screen video, and many tutorials will pop up there. So that's my answer for that. Have I ever experimented with economy picking? Yeah, somewhat. I've actually started playing more arpeggios recently, so that's been sort of doing that economy or sweep picking, I guess. But really, my go-to is alternate picking. It always has been, really. I suppose that's just been sort of absorbed from osmosis, from listening to so much Paul Gilbert and Yngwie Malmsteen, where they're just incredible at their alternate picking. I've always listened to players who do it, hence me doing it, really absorbing that. I do use some economy picking on some of the pentatonic passages I do, but for the most part it's pretty strict alternate. Yeah, and really that's as good of answers as I can give, really, just osmosis from listening to those guys. So that's that. Let's see. Have I changed my equipment playing with Asia? I haven't really changed my equipment much, but the EQ I've had to change quite drastically. I haven't done a huge amount of playing with keyboard players before, so when you play with a keyboard player you really have to think about your EQ, because a keyboard is taking up so much of sort of the sonic spectrum, if you like. What I've had to do with my sound is dial in more top end, but apart from that, no, it hasn't really changed much. I'm playing the same guitars, I'm still running my Supersonics, love those amps. That really is a fantastic amp. It's versatile, it's got all the clean stuff you'd expect from a Fender amp. It does that sparkly clean tone, but also it's got this amazing gain stage, which really just blows my mind how saturated and full of harmonics that second channel is, really. So I definitely recommend those amps wholeheartedly, absolutely. There's been a lot of rig rundown style questions, people wanting to see that. So basically I've got my Supersonic, I'm running a couple of twins for Asia. I've actually got my pedal board here conveniently, so I'll give you a bit of a tour around that. Let's see, quite simple, no mucking about really. I've got a Jim Dunlop Crybaby Classic wah, and I forget the model number, but it's got some sort of a transistor that the original ones had in, but you know, it just sounds great. I've got a Boss Chromatic TU3 tuner, sort of the industry standard, really. You can see it really clearly. I've got a Slow Distortion by Wampler. I'm actually running the second channel not really all that saturated. I've got it sort of with the gain, it's got two gain knobs, and both of which turn to about 6. And I'm using this for solos. It's a lovely pedal. I've got a little bit more bass turned up on this specific pedal because, like I said, I've rolled off some of the top end to compete. I've rolled up the top end to compete with keyboards. So when I'm kicking in for a guitar solo, I want a little bit more bass, really, to make it a bit fuller sounding. So yeah, hopefully you can see the settings that I've got there. I've got a couple of new pedals that my friend Phil hooked me up with recently. I've got a Mua Ensemble King, which is basically a clone of a Boss chorus pedal. It's small, this one, you can't fit a battery in it, and the reason why I liked it sounds great for one, it's built like a tank, and it's small. I can get a couple of extra things in here if I want to, which I may end up doing in the future. And I've got an Anna Echo, which is a nice delay, really. I've got that set with not a huge amount of delay, just to sort of fill in the gaps and you know, missed the mistakes, if you like. So that's that. Right then. Scrolling down, it's going to be a bit of a long video, I guess, isn't it? How did I get the gig with Asia? Originally, they asked a few guys. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you they asked, but the one that's public is Paul Gilbert, and Paul put my name forward to do it, which was amazing. If nothing else, that was a great honour. Even if nothing else happened, that was amazing, really. But I went down to the studio and we sort of had a chat with the guys, and they liked what I've done before, which was, you know, a great honour again, really. So there you go, that's the answer there. My buddy Dusty, asks what kind of hair conditioner I'm using. I've got a few hair questions. The short answer is whatever the missus is using, really. At the moment, I think we're using Tresemme. Sort of a funny thing there. Let's see. In your opinion, what is a good practice routine for picking? Also, what would you consider proper posture in both standing and sitting positions? Let's see, picking practice, a good routine. Well, the best advice I can ever give anyone for picking is really playing slow is the key to playing fast. People who rush themselves into playing fast aren't going to sound clean. It's as simple as that. You've got to put in a lot of time when it comes to picking. You've got to sit there and you've really got to do lots of hours of playing very slow, watching your right hand, making sure you're wasting no energy, making sure your pick is gliding over the string at a nice 45-degree angle. Without giving you a private lesson, that's the best I can do really there. What would I consider proper posture? Good question, I guess. I tell you what, when I was sort of working big time on picking, I sat down a lot, and I practiced these things sat down. And there was a bit of an oh bugger moment when I went to stand up and strap on my guitar, because I realised that I couldn't do the licks to the same calibre standing up as I could sitting down. So really, it's good advice to practice standing up as much as you can, because let's face it, when we're playing live, we're standing up, aren't we? So you want to be able to be totally at ease and comfortable when you're playing live. So practice standing up. What picks do I use? I use the little Jazz Dunlop picks. At the moment I'm using the clear Ultex ones, which I like. But you know, the only ones I don't like are the max grip ones. Reason being, I can't slip them into my middle finger to do tapping because they're too grippy. The reason why I like the small Jazz picks is they've got a bit of a sharper point on than what you get on a standard pick, and also that they fit into your middle finger. For me, I've got quite small hands, so having a pick that's comfortable with my middle finger when I'm tapping or when I'm finger picking is essential. So yeah, that's that. Sam, what is your point of view on music today? Do you think that it's going in a direction that favours guitar players? I don't know really. A lot of the mainstream music doesn't feature guitars anymore, and that might be a shame, but at the end of the day you've got to deal with it, and that's that, isn't it? You know, you can't dwell on these things. Saying that, it's a great time to be playing guitar because we've got so many sort of routes to go down, like the Jam Track Central thing. That's taking off, man. That's big time. There's a good scene for guitar players at the moment. The YouTube scene is phenomenal. I'm so proud to be part of this community on YouTube. It really is a very cool thing. So I guess yes and no really. It is what you make of it, so make the most you can. Have fun playing really, that's what it's all about. That's why we do it. When did I start playing? I might have answered that already. 10 years ago. And I think we'll call it a day there really. I've probably waffled on for far too long as it is. But if I didn't answer your questions, I apologise. Write a comment and I'll get back to you in writing the old-fashioned way. So I hope you've enjoyed this lengthy video with me waffling on. Thank you for watching as always. It's such a great thing posting videos on YouTube. I'm so pleased that I'm able to do it, and I'm so appreciative to you guys for watching me. It just makes it for me, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Keep on rocking. Cheers guys, take it easy.